of Nigeria. Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Republic of
The National Assembly has said that they were going to challenge the decision you got over the issue of the crisis in Edo State.
Yes.
Tell us, what's your reaction to this?
Well, the Constitution allows freedom of action. They have the right to, because like I said, the Constitution provides for that. They are not happy with the verdict of the High Court, Federal High Court, and they want to appeal. They are free to.
Yesterday you were at that meeting,
yeah.
And you heard what happened. I was expecting that you would say something.
Well,
are you under any pressure?
No, I'm not. I'm not under any pressure.
Change your mind?
I'm not. I mean, change my mind about what? The issues are clear. We don't have a crisis in Edo State. The House of Assembly has been properly proclaimed and properly inaugurated. Some members have decided to leave. There's nothing anyone can do. It will not stop the work of the House. It's not stopping the states. We're passing our laws. We are carrying out normal constitutional activities as a government. So, I guess...
Even if your party is insisting that you issue fresh proclamation...
My party will not insist on the wrong things. My party is a lawful party and will not go against what a court of law has ordered.
Tell me about 2020 budget.
Well, the economy is challenged. Revenues are not where we expect them to be. So the budget is going to call for a lot of sacrifice from all parties.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My name is
Oh, thank you.
A submission of the budget, and I also must commend the National Assembly for a renewed vigor in correcting things, the ills of the past. What you are seeing now is 5 months after. The reason why the budget is coming is to enable us to go back to the budget cycle of January to December, which will help us to plan, to have a better plan for the future of Nigeria. So this is highly commendable, and it's also because of the cooperation that is existing between the executive and the parliament today. We are quite excited about it. The hope for Nigerians, they should expect a better, let me say, they should expect better dividends of democracy. The president has promised that in this second term he wants to take them to the next level. The next level is a level of discipline, a level where you have better infrastructural rollout, a level where at least there is a clear-cut direction of entrenching not just through democracy, but entrenching through democratic practices, good governance for Nigeria. So I'm excited about it, and I believe strongly that this budget is going to be a budget of hope for all Nigerians.
It's going to be depending on more than 50% of oil.
Yes.
And now that means in the Niger Delta, where that oil comes from, we expect some relative peace from there.
Not just relative peace, you expect commitment. The youths of the Niger Delta, the elders, the traditional rulers are all committed to supporting this government. We don't have any other country than this. And you have seen the fillers that have been coming out, even during the campaigns. The entire youth of Niger Delta, the ex-militants, the agitators, they all came out, even in Warri, in their thousands and endorsed the president and said they are going to cooperate with the president. I can assure you that there's going to be relative peace in the Niger Delta, and then of course oil production will be boosted. So you can be sure of that. But we still have to diversify the economy. We have to do a lot in terms of mining. We have to do a lot in terms of agriculture and all that. So it's not going to be one aspect alone. And with the current situation where the president has been able to ban certain consumable items that were causing a lot of what I mean so-called disincentive in terms of production, you see renewed vigor in the area of agriculture. You see people coming out now and say, yes, we are interested in the value chain in starch and all that, because those things have now been banned in the country. So it's, cassava production will be boosted and all that. And of course, what comes out will be the value chain in agriculture. We will not depend on one source of revenue. Of course, crude oil with the volatility in terms of oil prices is not dependable. So I think it's time now that we think out of the box, and Nigerians are beginning to do that. Integrated farming is taking place. A lot of youths are getting interested. The Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs is out to encourage the youths of the Niger Delta region and other Nigerians who are interested in taking to agriculture. We are very poised to add our own, value to the current situation of things, and we want to make sure that the youth see the need not to depend on crude oil alone. But in terms of relative peace, I assure you that our people are committed.
You were a governor,
yes,
and you've been a leader in the immediate past Senate,
yes,
and now you're for Nigerians.
Well, it's not a function of one, availability of funds, and then secondly, the commitment. The commitment is there on the part of Mr. President. And then, of course, the ministers are all very determined to put in their best, and some of us will not be there if we're not going there to go and add value to what is going on. It's a country that we must all put our hands together. And then, of course, security is uppermost in the minds of everybody, and I commend the security services. We are having relative peace now, even in the Northeast. So it means that very soon, people in the Northeast will return also to the farms. In Niger Delta, you have seen relative peace. In the Southeast, the resurgence of IPO is no longer there. All those things are going down, and then so diminishing in every aspect of it. So with relative security in the country and with commitment on the part of government, you can be sure that the next budget will definitely take Nigerians to the next level. It might not take us to the El Dorado because of the finances, but definitely with the available resources, we will ensure prudent management of the resources for better dividends of democracy to all Nigerians. You will be happy at the end of the day, I assure you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that's what I've just said. I knew that that's where you will go. From 30% the previous year, we are having something lower to, this year. I don't want to talk about it much because Mr. President is the one who will talk about it. But Nigerians should expect that this Federal Executive Council, led by Mr. President, will do all within his power to ensure that we improve on what we have on ground.
The country is still going to rely so much on oil, about over 50% of its expenditure on oil. And you are in the Ministry of Agriculture, where the oil will be coming from. Now, what should we expect from that ministry in terms of supporting the government?
The first thing we need to do is to ensure that there is peace. There is a benchmark of the number of barrels of oil that the country believes it can produce. Yes, and if we are able to do our job very well, we have the cooperation of the people of the Niger Delta. The Ministry of Petroleum Resources will strive to produce that quantum of oil, and that will help the economy. It is our job to ensure that there is stability in the Niger Delta.
Thank you very much, and I wish you best of luck.
Thank you, thank you. God bless you all.
You don't get.
So far now, also because my own or you come on and run a free dance.
But this story is supposed to go before they even freeze.
No.
Capital project. So we're seeing new things happen with this administration and this session of the National Assembly.
Talking about the 2019 implementation, Nigerians are skeptical. Now, how do we convince them about the implementation of
Let's even start by hearing the budget. And then let's start by looking at areas. Nigerians themselves should hold government accountable and responsible. So this is a democracy. It's about everybody being engaged. And Mr. President has ensured that we practice participatory democracy. So it's not just about sitting down, but you're free to, check the budget and also help the parliament in the work of oversight.
You're going to have a budget of almost 11 trillion naira, and it's still very low.
Exactly. But better than previous.
No, even lower. It's 18% this time. Last time was 30. We now having 18%. How do we go about it?
Well, let's take it one step at a time. I'm sure we'll look forward to a purposeful budget, a budget that will be poor. Mr. President's determination is that, as he said recently, the wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few. It's about how projects get to the grassroots. It's about how you carry along majority of Nigerians, So I think that is the agenda of the Mr. President, and that is the agenda we all should pursue.
Thank you.
Well done.
Sir, we are expecting the president to present the 2020 budget, sir. Now, how are you people going to receive?
Oh, that's my reaction is, this today budget is like 60% of the 2019 budget, because we want this time around the president wanted this budget to start it by January, so that we can meet up the time. So I think just 40% will be for the 2019. Then we upgrade the 2019 to 2020. And last week, I think the president called for a meeting. They change, they correct all the budget so that there is balance in terms of project between the six political zone. So this 2020 budget we are expecting is a budget of change, but we are expecting the president to come. Then after the president present the budget, then we, the House, we will see which side is most important to a common man in this country, so that we can know how to appropriate the money to the important place. But we are expecting this budget to be the best budget since the elected of the President Muhammad Buhari, because you can see the budget is nearly 10 trillion plus. So we are expecting Nigerian will be happy with this 2020 budget, inshallah.
Now, talking about implementation, how are you people, National Assembly, going to oversight the executive to make sure that this budget is well implemented?
This time around, there is changes in this house because seriously, Speaker tried his best and called us last week about the oversight. We must oversight the executives this time around to make sure there is 90 or 100% implementation of this budget, because if you can see all this budget, sometimes you can see some 30%, some 50%, some 20% implementation. But this 2020, we will make sure that we oversight the executive and we will assist government to get the money so that the budget will be funded. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be glorious, and I can see the level of preparation that the National Assembly has done, the leadership of the National Assembly, the management of the National Assembly, the security institutions, and the support staff have done, and the level of clearance that has been done, and of course, the ease and civility in which people have been allowed to move in or be restrained. So we're expecting a very great presentation by Mr. President.
All right, sir. So you've been a member of the National Assembly. The budget presentation, how do you think it's going to impact meaningfully in the lives of Nigerians?
Well, it's going to impact more meaningfully because now it's not going to be a budget that is going to attract so much disputations, because and it is when a budget attracts so much disputation, that is when there is a problem of implementation. And of course, the most important thing in this budget is that for the last 10 years, in the last 10 years, what has happened has not, in this budget has not happened, because this is the very first time that the medium-term expenditure framework has been passed by the National Assembly, submitted in time by the executive, and again the executive sit back and appraise it and say we have accepted, and so they now prepare the budget based on what has been accepted as the parameters of the budget. They are not preparing this budget on the basis of the proposal they submitted to the executive, to the legislature, but they are preparing it on the basis of the pre-approval by the legislature. So it's going to be a lot more easy because everybody is on the same page.
All right, talking about level of implementation, Nigerians will feel year in, year out budget presentation, money approved. Implementation, they are not seeing it.
Well, Nigerians may not, most Nigerians may not say that they have seen implementation of the budget, because sometimes the target of revenue generation is not met. I'm sure a lot of people are feeling the pinch on the action of the Nigerian customs, one, in closing the borders, two, in going after car mats, those who've not paid taxes. A lot of people may not feel comfortable about the level that the Inland Revenue Service is going about collecting the budget, collecting monies and taxes. A lot of people may not feel. A lot of people are happy at the level of transparency in the generation of, in the production of oil and declaration. These are all the matters that will lead to the gathering of revenue. The mobilization of revenue enough to fund the budget. It is only then that we can see great implementation of the budget. So I believe that this is going to be a great implementation. Again, there is also the talk of rolling over a great part of the budget to the next year. Rollover because the last budget was signed in June, and by the time this budget is passed and it is assented to, the budget of 2019 will lapse, and so it is necessary to roll over a lot of the projects to next year.
Okay, now lastly, sir, talking about the level of relationship, that's the cordial relationship between the executive
And the legislature.
Has there been a cordial relationship between
There has been more cordial because, one, the leadership of the House and the Senate emerged by the agreement of the ruling party, led by His Excellency the President and the Chairman of the party. And so
they sit together and agree behind the scene on what should be the modules, of relations, a lot of times on what should be discussed, not what should be discussed, on what are contentious issues, and then they agree before it comes onto the floor on many occasions. And if there is a disputation on between the executive and the legislature, they don't bring it so much on the floor. They do it and agree at behind the scene at the party caucuses. So I'm sure you've not witnessed any heat between the present leadership of the National Assembly and the executive. It is because they emerged from within the party. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.